Hello people, so today we're going to show you how to install a VPN server and what is a virtual private network. VPN is a tunnel created between a client and a server, and this tunnel enables a computer to send and receive data across shared or public networks as if it were directly connected to the server private network. This way, it gets the benefits, the functionality, security, and management policies of the private network. So the first thing we do, of course, is to install the VPN servers, and in this case, we will use OpenVpn. So here we go. Yeah. Okay. VPN is installed. So now what we need to do to start building the OpenVPN configuration is to establish what is called a public key infrastructure. You may have seen it as PKI. And the PKI consists of two different certificates. One is the private key for the server and each client, and the other one is the master certificate authority, which is a certificate and key used to sign the server and client certificates. Why is this? Why we need this? Because OpenVPN supports bidirectional authentication based on certificates. This means that before a connection is established between a client and a server, the client must authenticate the server certificate and the server must authenticate the client certificate. So to set up our own certification authority and start generating certificates and keys, we first copy the ECRSA directory to the OpenVPN folder located in the etc. So what we do is we first create a directory called ECRSA in the VPN directory. So go. Let's go to the it's the ECRSA folder created, and now we're going to copy version 2 to we have the directory, and there it is. Everything is copied. Now we have to edit the variables to fit our environment. You do it the way, with your data. You can find it here. Is the vars file. So you edit the vars file. And we have mostly what you have to edit. This is here is this the last lines. Here you write your data, guys, depending on the country, province, city, organization, and email, and everything, depending on your configuration. So after we do that, we have to generate now a master certificate, authority certificate, and key. So we say that the source is vars. And now we have to run, as you read there, clean all. And we are going to build the certificate authority, build CA. So here you can write again, depending on your location and things, you write your data. Here I'm going to just leave it on default. So we're done with that, and now we're going to generate the server certificate and key. And to do this, we type build key server, and we are going to say that to name this server, for example, Ubuntu test. Ubuntu test is gonna be the name of my server. And again, same, we fill up this. And now we can choose to write here a password that will be used on the authentication. Company name, send the certificate, yes. Define, yes. And after that is done, we are going to generate what is called a Diffie-Hellman parameter for the VPN server, for the OpenVpn server. The Diffie-Hellman is it's just a key exchange method, and it allows two parties that have no prior knowledge of each other to jointly establish a shared secret key over an insecure communication channel, and then this key can be used to encrypt subsequent communications. And to do that, we type build the Diffie-Hellman. Yeah, depending on your processor speed, this might take a while. It's done, and now all the certificates will be generated in the subdirectory keys. See, subdirectory keys, and there we have our certificates and key is already created. So a good practice is to move all this, for example, Ubuntu test.crt, Ubuntu test.key, the CA certificate, the cam, and we move all these to etc OpenVpn. So we now go to etc OpenVpn. There are our files. So we are already done with the server certificates and keys, and we start creating the client certificates and keys. Usually you create a different certificate for each client, or you can just create one wherever you want. You choose. We go back to easy RSA, so source bars. We say we're going to build the key. For a client, we need to choose a client name. So let's say, for example, your name is client 1. And of course, again, all this. We're done. And once it's done, let's see. It should be in keys. There are our client keys and certificates. Yeah, and then what we need to do is to copy for example, these files, CA CRT. We need to copy client 1 CRT and client 1 key those 3 files you need to copy it and give it to your client 1, and he needs to put it on his computer. So the VPN client will use these certificates to communicate with the server. After that, you can either delete these files or just keep it there, save it on some folder. Actually, you're not going to need it anymore. It's just only the client will need those files. So what we do now, we need to start building the server configurations files. You can create these files from scratch, or you can edit the examples files located inside the OpenVpn examples folder. So for example, we can go here. We need to bring this file. So the name of the file, of course, is server.conf. So you can create the file, server.conf. There we have it, and now we're going to edit it. Server.conf. So actually, if you want a very, very simple configuration file, you need only 4 lines for this file, and you make sure you need to make sure that these lines point to the certificates and keys previously created. So the 4 lines you need actually is say the certificate authority name is ca.crt, and you need to tell that the certificate is called wait, I don't remember how did I call that. Ubuntu test. Ubuntu test, we have it here. These are the files we need, these 2 and these 2, the files we need. So in server.conf, we say okay, ca.crt, ca.crt, and certificate is Ubuntu test.crt, the key is Ubuntu test.test key. The Diffie-Hellman is yes 2024.pm. So with that, it should already work. Your OpenVPN server should be working. Of course, you can add lots more that you will find on the example files that are on the VPN folder. You can add, for example, server variable. I would say 10.0.0.0 with subnet 255.255.255. So 0. What this do is this will create a subnet 10.30.0.0, and the VPN client's IP will belong to this subnet. Of course, the server will take the IP 10.30.0.1 for itself. And then also we can add, for example, push root. And here you would write your server gateways IP and netmask for, let's say, for example, yeah. So this will allow the client to reach other private subnets behind the server. You can also add, for example, push DHCP option domain, and then here you write your server domain name, for example Ubuntu test.com, just for saying. You can also push with DHCP option DNS, and then you type your server's DNS. Your server DNS address. The DNS your server is using. I don't know. For just saying. Now, an important one is the keep alive one, and let's say 10.120. So the keep alive means that the server and the client, they will send each other ping messages. In this case, I wrote 10, so they will send each other messages every 10 seconds to know if one of them has gone down. And they will assume that the other side is down if no response is received during 120, as I put here, seconds period. So you can change this to send pings every 1 second, and if it doesn't receive any answer after 3 seconds, it will assume that the other peer is down. Yeah, there are lots of more variables that one can write here. You can say, okay, log. I want you to name the log file openvpn.log. This will be placed, of course, in the OpenVpn folder. You can enable compression. You can enable compression over the VPN link, writing comp O. And you can also redirect the client's default network gateway through the VPN, and this way all IP traffic such as web browsing and DNS lookups will go through the VPN. So how to do this is you can say, for example, push redirect anyway. Yeah. Okay. This way, for example, when your client is going to surf the web, it will do it. It will look like it is on the server's network. So as I told you, there are lots of other variables that one can set here. Even the port, which port is going to the server is going to use, the protocols, and this. But with this basic configuration file, the server should be up and running. So now let me show you an example. Let's go. Okay, for example, let's say here. Let's say what's my IP address. What's my IP address? So here we have it, my IP address, and it says my ISP, broadband, all that. So now let's try it. Let's connect to a VPN server, and we'll see What happens with that? Okay, now we are connected. Let's try again. Oops, there we are. So that is all, guys. I hope this really fast tutorial helped you. It's a basic configuration, OpenVpN configuration. So enjoy it, and if you have any questions, you can write in the comments or send me a message.